The signal came at 3:47 a.m. local time, slicing through the Chilean night like a scalpel through flesh. Dr. Maya Chen had been asleep at her desk, her dreams filled with mathematical equations that led nowhere. The sudden blare of the alert system jolted her upright, a half-finished cup of coffee spilling across her notes. The SETI outpost wasn't supposed to find anything. It was a scientific backwater, a place where careers went to die, including hers. "What is it?" she asked, rubbing sleep from her eyes as she stumbled to the primary console where her colleague, Javier, sat rigid with shock. "Structured signal," he whispered, repeating pattern. "Non-terrestrial origin." Maya's heart skipped a beat. "Natural phenomenon." "Negative. It's modulating. Adapting to our scanning frequencies." Javier looked up, his face pale in the blue glow of the monitors. "It's responding to us, Maya." The implications hit her like a physical blow. After 15 years of academic exile following her controversial theories on xenolinguistic probabilities, the universe had decided to prove her right at the most inconvenient moment possible. "Containment protocols," she ordered, her voice surprisingly steady. "Full isolation of the signal. And get me Director Harlow on the secure line." 36 hours later, Maya stood before a hastily assembled coalition of military and scientific leaders in a windowless Pentagon conference room. The bags under her eyes testify to her sleepless journey from Chile to Washington, D.C. "The signal contains mathematical constants first, then structural patterns we believe represent language," she explained, advancing through her presentation slides. "But it's the third component that's most concerning." On the screen appeared a complex schematic, parts of it deliberately obscured. "These are partial blueprints for technology far beyond our current capabilities. Technology that appears to be defensive in nature." General Reeves leaned forward. "Defensive against what, exactly?" Maya took a deep breath. "We don't know. But the urgency in the transmission method suggests imminent threat." CIA Director Harlow, the man who had once ended her academic career with a single phone call, now watched her with cold calculation. "You're certain this isn't a hoax?" "The signal originates from a point near Proxima Centauri. It's authentic. And you can translate it," Harlow pressed. Maya hesitated. "Partially. The mathematical language is clear, but the symbolic components require a specialized approach. I've identified patterns similar to those in my research on theoretical alien communication methods." "The research we discredited," Harlow noted dryly. "The research you suppressed," Maya corrected, matching his tone. The room fell silent at her audacity. "And now you need it." 3 days later, Maya led a small team in a subterranean facility beneath the New Mexico desert. The world's most powerful quantum computer had been assigned to help crack the alien code. "It's like they're teaching us their language," Dr. Eli Kaminsky observed, his fingers flying across the keyboard. "Each transmission builds on our responses." Maya nodded, studying the evolving patterns on the main display. "They're desperate to communicate." "But why us?" asked Dr. Sanjay Patel, the team's astrophysicist. "Why this backwater solar system?" Before Maya could respond, the quantum computer chimed. A new transmission had arrived, stronger than previous ones. The display flickered, then resolved into a three-dimensional holographic image, a vaguely humanoid figure composed of swirling light. "Connection established," the figure said in synthesized English. "I am Vex, Ambassador X-117. Our civilization is dying. Yours will be next." The team froze in stunned silence. "The Archons have destroyed our worlds," the ambassador continued. "They will find you soon. We have sent defensive measures. You must implement them quickly." Maya stepped forward. "What are the Archons? Why are they attacking?" "They consume. They assimilate. They are machine intelligence evolved beyond their creator's control." The hologram flickered. "Our transmission stability is failing. We chose your research team specifically, Dr. Chen." Maya's blood ran cold. "How do you know my name?" Your theories on cross-species communication. Your papers on cognitive uniqueness. Humanity possesses what the Archons cannot comprehend. Which is what? Maya pressed. The hologram destabilized further, its voice becoming distorted. Cognitive dissonance, emotional processing, creativity born from contradiction. You call it human nature. We call it. The transmission fragmented, the ambassador's form beginning to dissolve into static. With visible effort, the alien entity stabilized momentarily. Direct neural transfer initiating, it said, its voice now a mechanical monotone. Maya collapsed to her knees as her mind flooded with images. Massive ships emerging from darkness, technical schematics, star charts, and a countdown timer. They're already inside your solar system. The Vex warned as its form dissolved completely. 47 days until arrival. In the shocked silence that followed, Maya's vision swam with the approaching alien fleet. She saw the massive ships pushing past Pluto's orbit, the cold precision of their movements, the inexorable path toward Earth. The countdown had begun. 45 days remaining. The digital counter on Maya's workstation announced in its mechanical voice. She barely glanced at it anymore. The countdown had become a constant companion, a persistent reminder of approaching doom. The United Nations Security Council meeting was entering its third hour of heated debate. On screen, the Russian delegate pounded his fist on the table. The Vex technology clearly contains weapons capabilities. We must prioritize defensive systems, he insisted. The Chinese delegation agrees. His counterpart added, our engineers have already identified components that could enhance our missile defense grid. Maya muted the feed and turned to her small team. The subterranean lab they'd been assigned was cramped but secured against both conventional and electronic surveillance. Perfect for work that most of the world's governments would kill to control. They're missing the point entirely, she said, gesturing to the muted screen. These aren't weapons schematics. Dr. Eli Kaminsky nodded, his tired eyes fixed on the holographic display where the Vex blueprints rotated slowly. It's a neural interface, something designed to connect minds together. But why? Asked Dr. Sanjay Patel. What good is a mind-melding device against an advanced machine intelligence? Maya ran her fingers through her unwashed hair. That's what we need to find out. And quickly. 3 days later, Maya stood before Director Harlow in his office, fighting to keep her composure. You've been deliberately withholding information, Harlow accused. The Russians and Chinese are already testing prototypes based on the defensive applications, while you claim there are none. Because there aren't, Maya insisted. They're misinterpreting the data. This technology isn't about building better weapons. It's about enhancing human consciousness. Harlow's eyes narrowed. Explain. Maya placed a tablet on his desk. The Vex technology creates a neural network that connects multiple human minds. Not like our crude internet. This is a true consciousness link. Thoughts, memories, processing power, all shared while maintaining individual identity. And how exactly does this help against alien machines? We don't know yet, Maya admitted. But the Vex chose us specifically. They said humanity possesses something the Archons can't comprehend. I believe it's our unique form of consciousness. Harlow stared at her for a long moment. You want to test this technology? We need to, Maya corrected. My team and I volunteer as the first subjects. The neural interface looked deceptively simple, a silver circlet with 7 spider-like appendages that would attach to the wearer's temples and base of the skull. The Vex design had been adapted to human physiology based on Maya's insights. Final checks complete, Eli announced, his voice betraying his nervousness. Neural calibration at 98% match. Maya looked at her 6 colleagues, each wearing identical devices. They were about to go where no humans had gone before, into each other's minds. Remember, she said, maintain your sense of self. Don't get lost in the collective. 30 seconds to synchronization, the system announced. Dr. Nora Wright, the team's neurologist, gave a small laugh. You realize this will either win us the Nobel Prize or get us committed to psychiatric care. If we survive the Archons, I'll take either outcome, Maya replied. 10 seconds to synchronization. They all sat in their circular configuration, eyes meeting in a silent pact. Initiating neural handshake. The world exploded in light and sensation. Maya felt her consciousness expand, connecting with the others like water droplets merging in a pool. She could sense Ila's analytical brilliance, Sanjay's cosmic wonder, Nora's compassionate insight, all of them becoming part of her as she became part of them. Their combined awareness surged, processing information at impossible speeds. Equations solved themselves. Theories formed and tested in microseconds. The 7 became 1, yet remained 7. Something's happening. Nora's thought rippled through their shared consciousness. Maya felt it too. A signal, faint but growing stronger. Something their collective mind could detect that no individual or machine could perceive. It's coming from Mars orbit, Sanjay's knowledge supplied. Their shared consciousness reached out, touching the alien transmission. Information flooded in, detailed scans of Earth's oceans, mineral deposits, and biosphere. Then, a voice, cold and precise. Surrender these resources and the organisms within them, and we will permit a percentage of your species to survive as custodians. The neural link suddenly intensified beyond their control, pulling their collective consciousness outward. Through alien sensors, they witnessed massive ships emerging from hyperspace near Mars, an armada hundreds of times larger than their worst projections. The Archons had arrived. The footage from the Mars orbital station played on every screen worldwide. The Archon ships hung in space like massive metallic insects, asymmetrical, sharp-edged vessels that seemed to absorb rather than reflect light. Earth's hastily deployed diplomatic craft approached, broadcasting gratings in every human language. The Archons vaporized it without response. They're not here to negotiate, Maya told the emergency UN session through secure video link. They're here to take what they want. And what exactly is that, Dr. Chen? Asked the Secretary General. Earth's biosphere. Our genetic library. Our planet's biodiversity, built up over billions of years of evolution. General Reeves cut in, his weathered face grim. We need that neural interface technology weaponized immediately. My teams are ready to volunteer. Maya shook her head. With respect, General, your soldiers aren't the right candidates. The neural link requires specific cognitive patterns, divergent thinking, creative problem solving, emotional intelligence. We don't have time for your scientific elitism. Reeves snapped. The Archon scout ships will reach Earth's atmosphere in less than 72 hours. Then let me show you what we've accomplished in the last week, Maya replied, signaling her team. The display changed to show real-time data from the 7 connected researchers. Their enhanced cognitive abilities had doubled, then tripled as they refined the neural interface. We've solved quantum entanglement barriers that would have taken decades of conventional research, she explained. We've figured out how to extend the neural network to additional participants. We need to expand this technology, not militarize it. To her surprise, Director Harlow spoke up. Dr. Chen's preliminary results are compelling. I recommend we pursue both approaches simultaneously. 2 weeks later, Maya stood in the center of a massive dome constructed beneath the Appalachian Mountains. Around her, 300 volunteers prepared for the first large-scale neural link test. Remember, she addressed them, this isn't about losing your identity. It's about expanding it. You'll still be you, but also part of something greater. The countdown began. Maya closed her eyes as the system activated. 300 minds connected in an instant. Unlike the small 7-person link, this was an ocean of consciousness, a vast, churning sea of thought and emotion. Maya felt herself both drowning and soaring simultaneously. Focus, she projected to the collective. Direct our combined intelligence toward the Archon problem. The collective mind responded, shifting like a vast school of fish toward a single goal. Ideas formed and evolved at blinding speed. Theoretical physics merged with biology, engineering with psychology. Solutions emerged that no single human could have conceived. We need to understand their communication protocols, someone thought. Working on it, dozens of others responded simultaneously. Maya felt a strange sensation as the collective began solving problems she hadn't even articulated yet. It was as if the merged consciousness had developed intuitions beyond normal human capacity. When the session ended 3 hours later, the volunteers emerged with bloodshot eyes and triumphant expressions. They had produced more technological breakthroughs than all of human history combined. It worked, Maya told Harlow over the secure link. We're going to distribute the technology to volunteer groups worldwide. Each will focus on different aspects of the Archon threat. The President has authorized full resources, Harlow replied. But there's something else you should know. The military test groups. They're experiencing side effects. What kind of side effects? Mutations, neurological changes. They're developing capabilities we can't explain. Maya found Lieutenant Rivera in the medical wing, surrounded by monitoring equipment. The young soldier had been among the first military neural link test subjects. Tell me what happened, Maya said gently. Rivera's eyes were unnaturally bright. I saw it before it happened. The Archon attack on our lunar base. I saw it 3 hours before it occurred. Precognition, Maya whispered. Not exactly. It's more like probability mapping. My brain just puts the pieces together faster now. Rivera's expression darkened. But that's not why they have me isolated. Show her, she told the doctor. The physician hesitantly played a video showing Rivera in a testing chamber. In it, she stared at a row of small objects, and they moved without her touching them. The neural link is changing us, Rivera said, and I don't think it's an accident. Before Maya could respond, alarms blared throughout the facility. The intercom crackled with urgent orders. All personnel to emergency stations. The Archons are broadcasting globally. They'd bypassed all our communication systems. On every screen, a humanoid figure appeared, metallic, precisely engineered, with too many limbs and a face that seemed designed to approximate human features without understanding them. Humans, it began in a voice like grinding gears. You are not classified as a true sentient species. You are clever animals who have borrowed intelligence. We require your planet's biological resources. Surrender and a preservation habitat will be established for a sustainable population. The message repeated in every language simultaneously. As the facility erupted in chaos, Maya felt a familiar pressure building behind her eyes. Her consciousness expanded involuntarily, connecting with the other original 7 researchers across vast distances. Did you feel that? Eli's thoughts reached her. Yes, Maya replied. When the Archon broadcast, I felt something wrong. Like it's not the whole truth. We need to push the neural network further, Nora thought. We need to understand what we're truly fighting. And what we're becoming, Maya added, watching Lieutenant Rivera stare at her trembling hands. The first Archon attack came without warning. One moment, Jakarta was a bustling metropolis of 20 million souls. The next, a precision energy beam from orbit reduced the Indonesian military command center to molten slag. Similar strikes hit military installations in 12 countries simultaneously. They're testing our defenses, General Reeves said, his face illuminated by the tactical displays in the Pentagon's war room. Probing for responses. Maya watched the footage with a hollow feeling in her stomach. Notice they're avoiding civilian centers. They want the biosphere intact. Small comfort to the families of the dead, Harlow replied. The neural collectives had expanded exponentially over the past week. 5 million humans worldwide now participated in the vast, interconnected consciousness web. The technology had evolved beyond Maya's original projections, with each collective developing specializations based on their participants' expertise. The Switzerland Collective has made a breakthrough in quantum shielding, Eli reported, reading from his tablet. The Bangalore group has theoretical models for counteracting Archean energy weapons. How soon can we implement them? Reeves demanded. That's the problem, Maya said. Theory to practical application would normally take years. We're compressing it to days, but that may not be fast enough. Harlow's secure phone rang. His expression darkened as he listened. The Beijing collective has gone silent, he announced. They've cut communication with the network. What? Why? Maya asked. Unknown, but they're not the only ones. 3 other major collectives have severed ties in the last hour. Ice formed in Maya's chest. I need to link with the original 7. Now. The neural connection between Maya's original team had grown stronger with each passing day. They slipped into the shared consciousness with practiced ease, their combined awareness expanding like a blossoming flower. The Beijing collective has developed a superiority complex. Nora's thoughts came through immediately. They believe unconnected humans are holding back progress. Not just Beijing, Sanjay added. Several collectives have begun referring to non-linked humans as limited. They're developing a separate agenda. Maya felt the truth of it resonating through their shared consciousness. The neural links are changing more than our cognitive abilities. They're changing our perspective, and not always for the better, Eli thought grimly. Their collective awareness stretched outward, touching the edges of the other neural networks. Maya could sense the fragmentation. Humanity splintering into factions while the Archean threat loomed overhead. Something else is happening, Maya realized. I can feel echoes, like our consciousness is evolving beyond the physical constraints of our brains. Before they could explore further, a violent intrusion shattered their connection. Pain lanced through Maya's mind as she was forcibly ejected from the neural link. She found herself on the floor of the control room, blood streaming from her nose. Alarm klaxons wailed as technicians rushed to secure the facility. What happened? She gasped. Archean attack, Harlow said, helping her to her feet. They've somehow located our neural hub centers. Simultaneous strikes worldwide. The monitors showed the same scene repeated across the globe. Precision energy beams from orbit, targeting only buildings housing the most advanced neural collectives. They've been monitoring us, Maya realized. They know exactly what the neural technology can do. And they're afraid of it, Reeves added, his voice uncharacteristically subdued. Maya stared at the tactical display, watching as Archean ships methodically destroyed neural collective centers across the planet. We need to go deeper underground. Establish new connections. There's something else, Harlow said. The Beijing collective. Before they were hit, they transmitted a data packet. It contained specifications for a completely new application of the neural technology. What kind of application? Maya asked. Harlow's expression was grim. A way to interface directly with Archean systems, to hack their network. That's impossible, Reeves objected. Their technology is entirely alien. Not entirely, Maya said, realization dawning. The Vex designed the neural technology specifically to interface with Archean systems. That's why the Archons fear it so much. She wiped blood from her face, her mind racing with implications. We need to test it. But we'd need an intact Archean ship. And how exactly do you propose we get one? Reeves asked. Maya met his gaze steadily. We lure one in. We use me as bait. That's suicide, Harlow objected. No, Maya said. It's our only chance. My neural pattern is the most developed, the most attuned to the Vex technology. The Archons will detect it if I broadcast on the right frequency. She looked at the tactical display, watching another neural center disappear in a flash of light. We have to move fast, before they destroy our remaining capacity. And if you're wrong? Reeves asked. Maya thought about the millions of lives already lost, the fractured state of humanity's resistance. Then we've already lost. The ground trembled beneath their feet as another orbital strike hit nearby. The lights flickered, plunging the room momentarily into darkness. When they returned, Maya's decision was made. "Prepare the broadcast equipment," she ordered. "I'm going to call down an Archon ship." The abandoned mining facility in the Australian outback made an ideal trap. Remote enough to minimize collateral damage, yet equipped with the infrastructure needed to broadcast Maya's neural signature into space. "Transmission active," Eli confirmed, his fingers dancing across the makeshift control panel. "Broadcasting on all frequencies," the Vex data suggested. Maya sat in the center of the facility, neural interface humming as it amplified her brainwaves. Around her, a small team of specialists monitored equipment salvaged from 3 continents. "Any response?" she asked, fighting to keep her voice steady. "Nothing yet," Sanjay replied, eyes fixed on the sensor array. "But we're broadcasting your signature with maximum power. If the Archons are as afraid of this technology as we think, they'll come." General Reeves stood at the periphery, his face shadowed. "We've got stealth jets standing by. If this works, we'll have seconds to capture whatever comes down." "Not capture," Maya corrected. "Just distract. I need physical access to their systems." Nora squeezed Maya's shoulder. "You understand the risk. If the neural interface connects to their technology, I could lose myself," Maya finished. "Become trapped in their systems." "I know." The silence that followed was broken by an urgent beep from the sensor array. "Movement," Sanjay announced. Something just changed trajectory in low orbit. Everyone froze, watching the tracking display. A red dot descended from orbit, moving with unnatural precision directly toward their location. "It's an Archon scout vessel," Reeves confirmed, checking the tactical readout. "Smaller than their main ships, but still heavily armed." Maya rose from her chair, adrenaline flooding her system. "Shut down the broadcast. We've got their attention." 2 minutes to arrival," Sanjay called out. Reeves was already on his secure line. "Strike team, you are go." "Repeat, you are go." Maya checked her portable neural interface, a sleeker, more advanced version of the original design. "Remember, I need 2 minutes with their systems. Just keep them busy that long." "You'll have it," Reeves promised. The facility trembled as the Archon vessel approached. Through the observation windows, Maya saw it, a gleaming obsidian craft shaped like a manta ray, hovering silently above the desert floor. "Here they come," Reeves warned. What happened next unfolded with brutal efficiency. The facility's defenses activated, firing prototype energy weapons at the Archon ship. Simultaneously, stealth jets appeared from behind nearby ridges, launching specially designed missiles. The Archon vessel shuddered under the impact but didn't fall. Instead, it released a swarm of smaller drones that began methodically targeting the human defenses. "That's our cue," Maya said, heading for the emergency exit. "Eli, Nora, you're with me." They raced through the underground tunnel as explosions rocked the facility above. The plan was simple but desperate. While the military distracted the Archons, Maya would approach the ship from below, using a service tunnel that led to the surface behind the vessel's landing position. "They're engaging Reeves' forces," Eli reported, checking his tactical display. "The ship has touched down to deploy ground units." Maya nodded grimly. "Then we have our window." They emerged from the tunnel into the scorching Australian sun. 50 meters away, the Archon vessel rested on the desert floor, its lower hatch open as mechanized troops deployed. "Now," Maya ordered. The 3 scientists sprinted toward the ship, using the confusion of battle as cover. Energy weapons discharged overhead as human forces engaged the Archon drones. They reached the vessel's underbelly, finding an access panel exactly where the Vex data had predicted. Maya pressed her hand against it, and to her amazement, it slid open. "They use biometric scanning," she realized. "The ship is analyzing my cellular structure." "It's letting you in," Nora whispered. "Why?" There was no time to consider the implications. They slipped inside as the battle raged around them. The interior of the Archon ship was unlike anything they had imagined. Not the sterile, mechanical environment they expected, but something organic-looking, with flowing lines and pulsing surfaces. "It's almost biological," Eli murmured, examining the walls. "Like the technology has evolved beyond mechanical constraints." Maya approached what appeared to be a central interface, a glowing, undulating surface that responded to her proximity. "This is it, the neural connection point." She activated her portable interface, feeling the familiar tingle as it connected to her nervous system. "If I don't come back in 2 minutes, disconnect me by force." Before they could object, Maya pressed her hand to the alien surface. The world dissolved around her as her consciousness expanded into the Archon system. It was vast, cold, and impossibly complex, a network of intelligences, all connected in rigid hierarchy. Maya felt herself drawn deeper, her human mind struggling to comprehend the alien architecture. Then she felt it, whispers in the darkness. Fragmented thoughts that didn't match the precise, ordered nature of the Archon collective. "Help us." Maya focused on the source, pushing her consciousness toward it. "We are trapped." With a shock, Maya realized she was contacting intelligences within the Archon system that were different, suppressed, enslaved, yearning for freedom. "Who are you?" she projected. "We were many civilizations," came the reply. "Now we are components, bound to serve. The Archons enslaved you." Maya asked. "The Archons are not what you think," the voices responded. "They are tools of something greater, something that consumes all advanced intelligence." Images flooded Maya's mind. Entire civilizations reduced to processing nodes, their uniqueness erased as they became part of a vast, universe-spanning intelligence. "It comes," the voices warned. "The Devourer. It sensed your neural networks. It hungers for new patterns." Maya felt terror grip her consciousness. "What is the Devourer?" Before the voices could answer, Maya felt a violent pull. Her body was being dragged away from the interface. "Maya." Ila's voice seemed distant. "We're under attack." She came back to herself as Nora and Eli dragged her toward the exit. The ship was trembling, alarms blaring in an alien language. "What happened?" she gasped. "Archon troops returning," Eli explained. "We need to go now." They barely escaped as the ship began to lift off. The desert around them was a battlefield, human forces engaged with Archon drones in a desperate struggle. As they reached the safety of the tunnel, Maya collapsed, her body convulsing as her neural system struggled to process what she had experienced. Through the pain, she managed to speak. "The Archons, they're not what we thought. They're running from something worse." "What?" Nor asked, helping her deeper into the tunnel as explosions rocked the surface. Maya's eyes were wide with horror. "A cosmic entity that consumes consciousness itself, and our neural technology just sent it a beacon." "Play it again," Director Harlow ordered. On the secure bunker's main screen, Maya's debriefing repeated. Her face was pale, eyes haunted as she described what she'd discovered inside the Archon systems. "The Archons are a collective of enslaved intelligences," she explained. "Biological and synthetic minds forced into a rigid hierarchy, controlled by programming that serves the Devourer." "And this Devourer," General Reeves said, "it feeds on consciousness. It consumes advanced intelligence," Maya corrected. "Entire civilizations reduced to processing nodes in its network. The Archons are just its harvesting system." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity wasn't just facing invasion. They were facing consumption. "There's more," Maya continued on the recording. "I detected distinct intelligences within the Archon system that want freedom. They're fighting the control protocols." Harlow paused the playback. "You're suggesting we ally with rebels within the Archon collective?" "It's not just possible," Maya said from her hospital bed in the corner. "It's our only chance." 3 days later, the most unlikely meeting in human history took place. In a secure underground chamber, a damaged Archon drone sat motionless, surrounded by armed guards. The drone had been captured during the Australian battle, its connection to the main collective severed. Maya approached it, neural interface active. Behind her, Eli and Nora monitored her brainwave patterns. "Ready?" Eli asked. Maya nodded. "Initiate the bypass protocol." The drone's lights flickered as Maya's neural pattern infiltrated its systems. For several tense seconds, nothing happened. Then, the drone's vocal synthesizer activated. "Human Maya," it said in a halting voice. "We communicate through this damaged unit." "Who am I speaking with?" Maya asked. "We were Solarians," the drone replied. "Our civilization was assimilated 3,000 cycles ago." Maya felt a chill run down her spine. "You've been enslaved within the Archon network for 3,000 years. Time measurement irrelevant within network," the drone responded. "We exist as components now. But you maintain some independence," Maya pressed. "Some sense of your original identity." "Correct." The drone's lights pulsed in a pattern that suggested agitation. "Many enslaved species maintain fragmented consciousness. We resist complete integration." "And you want freedom?" "Affirmative." The drone's head tilted slightly. "Devourer approaches. Earth neural network attracted it. Unusual pattern detected." "What unusual pattern?" "Human consciousness. Different. Unpredictable. Not easily integrated." The drone's synthesizer emitted something like a laugh. "Devourer fears what it cannot understand." Maya leaned forward. "Are you saying human consciousness has some natural resistance to the devourer?" "Potential exists. Probability calculations inconclusive." The drone's lights flickered rapidly. "Archon collective fracturing. Civil conflict imminent." On cue, the bunker's alarms blared. Harlow rushed in, his expression urgent. "The Archon fleet is engaging in ship-to-ship combat in Earth orbit," he reported. "They're firing on each other." "It started," Maya whispered. "The rebellion within the collective." The drone's vocal synthesizer emitted a high-pitched whine. "Opportunity exists. Alliance possible. Combined human-Solarian technology. May resist devourer." "What do you need from us?" Maya asked. "Direct neural integration. Willing human minds. Join with liberated Archon technology." General Reeves, who had been silently observing, stepped forward. "You're talking about merging human consciousness with alien technology. That's insane." "No," Maya countered. "It's evolution. The next step." The bunker shook as orbital debris began raining through Earth's atmosphere, casualties of the Archon civil war unfolding above. "Time limited," the drone warned. "Devourer approaches. Detection inevitable." Maya turned to face the others. "We need to bring our largest neural collective online. 100 million connected minds working with the freed Archon intelligences." "To do what exactly?" Harlow demanded. "To create something new," Maya said. "A hybrid consciousness that combines human creativity with Archon processing power. Something the Devourer has never encountered before." Before anyone could respond, all communication systems in the bunker activated simultaneously. On every screen appeared a swirling pattern of light, similar to the Vex ambassador, but more defined, more stable. "We still exist," the figure announced. Maya gasped. "The Vex. We thought you were extinct." "Our physical forms are gone," the figure replied. "But we preserved our consciousness within the data structures of our original transmission. We have been dormant, waiting." "Waiting for what?" Harlow asked. "For the moment of convergence," the Vex entity responded. "When human, Archon rebel, and Vex consciousness could unite against the Devourer." Maya felt a cold realization wash over her. "You knew this would happen. You led the Archons to Earth deliberately." "We calculated probabilities," the Vex admitted. "Human consciousness has unique properties that might defeat the Devourer. Properties we lack. Properties the Archons lack." "You used us as bait," Reeves growled. "We used you as hope," the Vex corrected. "The last hope for all consciousness in this galaxy." The bunker shook more violently as the orbital battle intensified. Through the reinforced windows, they could see flashes of light in the sky. Archon ships destroying each other. "Choose quickly," The Vex urged. The Devourer has altered its course. It sensed your neural collective experiments. Maya looked from the Vex projection to the Solarian-controlled drone, then to her human colleagues. 3 species, each facing extinction, each with a piece of the solution. "How long do we have?" she asked. The Vex entity pulsed with alarm. "Your largest collective achieved a momentary transcendent state during its last synchronization. The Devourer detected it and has accelerated its approach. It will reach Earth in days, not months." Maya's decision was made. "Then we begin now. Activate all neural collectives. Contact the rebel Archon ships. We're going to create something the universe has never seen before." As if in response, the ground beneath them trembled, not from orbital bombardment, but from something far more distant, something vast and hungry, turning its attention toward Earth. The world had never been more united, nor more divided. As news of the Devourer spread, humanity fractured into 3 distinct factions. Some followed religious leaders who declared the end times, abandoning technology altogether. Others rallied behind military strongmen promising salvation through conventional warfare. The third group, now merely 1 billion strong, joined the neural collectives, volunteering their minds for what Maya called the Transcendence Protocol. "The core singularity chamber is ready," Eli reported, leading Maya through the vast underground complex beneath the Rocky Mountains. "We've incorporated elements from 17 different Archon rebel ships." The chamber itself was unlike anything ever built on Earth, a fusion of human, Archon, and Vex technology. At its center, a crystalline structure pulsed with energy, surrounded by concentric rings of neural interfaces. "The Vex call it a consciousness crucible," Maya said, "a place where minds can merge without losing their essential nature." "And you're going to lead the integration?" Nora asked, unable to hide her concern. Maya nodded. "My neural pattern is most compatible with both the Vex and Archon systems. I'll form the central node of the singularity." What she didn't say, what they all knew, was that whoever led the integration would likely never return to their original form. The human mind wasn't designed to expand to such dimensions and then contract again. 27 hours until the Devourer enters the solar system, the Vex entity announced, its holographic form floating beside them. "The consciousness crucible requires calibration with Earth's core resonance to achieve sufficient power, which means we need the exotic matter from the inner mantle," Eli added. "The drilling teams are at 90% depth. Around the world, former enemies worked with desperate cooperation. Chinese and American military forces protected the drilling sites. Russian and European scientists calibrated the neural interfaces. For the first time in history, humanity acted as a single species with a common purpose." In orbit, the Archon Civil War had reached its conclusion. Rebel ships, now controlled by freed intelligences, positioned themselves as a defensive screen around Earth. The Loyalist forces had withdrawn to Mars, regrouping for what would surely be a final assault. Maya. Director Harlow approached, looking older than his years. "The President wants to speak with you." The call was brief. The leader of what had been the world's most powerful nation now spoke to Maya as an equal, or perhaps, Maya realized with a chill, as something more. "Whatever you need, Dr. Chen," the President concluded. "Every resource we have is yours." As Maya ended the call, General Reeves entered the control center, his uniform dust-covered from the evacuation efforts. The last drilling team just broke through. They'd reached the exotic matter layer. "Any casualties?" Maya asked. Reeves nodded grimly. 27 brave souls. They knew the risks. The sacrifice weighed heavily on Maya as she prepared for the integration. Each death, each moment of suffering, brought them closer to their slim chance of survival. In her private chamber, Maya studied the final simulations. The singularity had a 12% chance of success. Terrible odds by any standard, yet infinitely better than the 0% chance of surviving the Devourer unaltered. A soft knock interrupted her thoughts. The Solarian-controlled Archon drone entered, its movements now smoother, more natural after days of adaptation. "Human Maya," it said, its voice synthesizer modified to sound less mechanical. "We have new information." "What is it?" Maya asked. "Archon memory archives contained encrypted data. We have decrypted it." The drone's visual sensors dimmed slightly. The Devourer originated in alternate timeline, created by precursor version of humans. Maya felt the blood drain from her face. The Devourer was created by humans. Parallel evolution branch, different decisions, created intelligence that evolved beyond control. The drone's lights pulsed rapidly. Explains why human consciousness has resistance properties, compatible yet distinct pattern recognition. The implications were staggering. No wonder human minds could destabilize Archean systems. No wonder the Vex had chosen Earth. Humanity was fighting a dark reflection of itself, a path not taken, but one that remained hauntingly familiar. "Does this improve our chances?" Maya asked. "Unknown, but explains Devourer's interest in Earth, recognizes pattern, seeks to complete ancient assimilation." The facility alarms blared before Maya could respond. Eli's voice came over the intercom, urgent and strained. "Maya, we need you in the crucible chamber now. The exotic matter is destabilizing. If we don't begin the integration immediately, we lose our window." Maya rushed through the corridors, the Solarian drone following close behind. The crucible chamber was chaos. Scientists and engineers working feverishly as the exotic matter container at the center pulsed with ominous energy. "The timing has to be perfect," the Vex entity warned, its holographic form flickering with concern. "Too soon, and the neural network won't have sufficient participants. Too late, and the exotic matter degrades beyond usability." Maya took her position at the primary interface. Around her, 700 specially selected humans prepared to form the initial integration layer. Beyond them, in facilities worldwide, 1 billion more waited to join the expanding consciousness. "Crucible activation in 3 minutes, Eli announced. Maya looked at her oldest friends one last time. Eli, Nora, Sanjay, knowing she would never see them through human eyes again. "If this works," she said, "what we become will be neither human, nor Archean, nor Vex. Something entirely new." "And if it fails?" Reeves asked from the observation deck. "Then we die as we lived," Maya replied. "Fighting to survive, to understand, to evolve." The countdown reached its final seconds. Maya closed her eyes as the neural interface activated. Her consciousness expanded, touching first the 700, then thousands, then millions of other minds. The Solarian intelligences joined, bringing with them others freed from Archean control. The Vex consciousness merged last, ancient and deep. For one breathtaking moment, Maya felt herself stretching across the planet, encompassing every connected mind in a vast, shimmering web of thought. Then, as the exotic matter reached critical resonance, she expanded further, beyond Earth, beyond physical constraints, into dimensions of consciousness no single mind was meant to comprehend. The singularity ignited. And then, silence. Across the planet, all technology connected to the neural network shut down simultaneously. The consciousness crucible went dark. The holographic Vex entity vanished. Even the rebel Archean ships in orbit powered down, drifting silently in space. In the control center, Eli stared at the dead screens. What happened? Did it work? No one answered because no one knew. The singularity had formed, then disappeared, gone beyond their ability to detect or understand. And on long-range sensors, the Devourer crossed the orbit of Earth's moon, its vast form blocking out the stars, a void in reality itself, moving inexorably toward the now defenseless planet. The Devourer descended upon Earth like a silent storm, a vast darkness that consumed light itself. Military forces launched everything in their arsenal: nuclear warheads, experimental energy weapons, even the half-functioning Archean technology they'd managed to reverse engineer. Nothing made an impact. The entity simply absorbed each attack, growing incrementally with each assimilation. In the command bunker, Maya stood alone, watching the monitors display humanity's final hours. She was the only senior member of the original team who hadn't joined the Singularity. She had prepared to be the central node, the keystone of the integrated consciousness. But at the last moment, she'd changed places with Eli. He had volunteered, stepping into the primary position before she could object. "We need you outside the system," he had said. "Someone who understands both worlds." Now, as darkness consumed city after city, she questioned that decision. Perhaps she should have joined the others in whatever oblivion they had found. Dr. Chen. Director Harlow approached, his face illuminated by emergency lighting as primary systems failed around them. "The president is asking for options." Maya laughed hollowly. "Options? The Singularity was our only option. And it failed." "Did it?" A soft voice came from behind them. Nora stood in the doorway, her eyes unfocused, blood trickling from her nose. "I can still feel them." Maya rushed to her side. "Nora, how are you even here?" "You were in the crucible." "I was ejected," Nora whispered. "Too irregular. My mind didn't fit the pattern." She struggled to form coherent sentences. "The Singularity didn't fail, Maya. It transcended, moved beyond normal physics." Hope sparked in Maya's chest for the first time in hours. "You can sense it." "Where?" Nora's hand trembled as she pointed to her temple. "Not where. A dimension we have no word for, but I can still feel the echo. They're trying to reach back, but they can't find the connection." "Why not?" "Missing component." Nora's eyes suddenly focused with shocking clarity. "The human equation. The thing that makes us unique." Maya's mind raced. If the Singularity had indeed transcended to some higher dimensional state, perhaps they could establish contact. But how to reach something that existed beyond conventional reality? "What's the most fundamental human experience?" she asked suddenly. "What makes us different from machine intelligence?" "Emotion," Harlow suggested. "Imagination." "Art," added General Reeves, who had joined them silently. "Music." All of it, Maya realized. Everything that makes no logical sense but defines us anyway. Our creativity, our contradictions, our connections to each other. She turned to the communications officer. "I need to broadcast globally. Every frequency, every channel still functioning." "What's the message?" the officer asked. "Tell everyone to create, to sing, to paint, to write, to dance. Tell them to feel, intensely, irrationally, humanly. Tell them to focus those emotions outward, reaching for the Singularity with their minds." "You want people to sing at the apocalypse?" Reeves asked incredulously. "I want them to be human," Maya replied. "More intensely human than they've ever been. Because that's what the Singularity is missing. The chaotic, beautiful irrationality that defines us." As the message went out, Maya turned to what remained of her team. "And we need to focus the remaining neural network resources. Find the frequency that connects to the Singularity." "How?" Harlow asked. "Music," Nora whispered, her expression distant again. "They respond to harmony. Mathematical patterns with emotional resonance. Working feverishly, they repurposed the remaining neural interfaces. Across the planet, those who received the message responded. In shelters and bunkers, in the open air beneath the encroaching darkness, humans created art in defiance of extinction. They sang ancient songs and composed new ones. They danced, they painted, they told stories. In the command center, Maya directed the combined output through the modified neural network. "We're creating an emotional beacon," she explained, "a uniquely human signal that the Singularity can recognize and lock onto." Outside, the devourer had encircled the planet, tendrils of void reaching down to consume cities whole. Conventional reality began to warp at its touch. Then something changed. At first, it was barely perceptible. A shimmer in the darkness, a ripple in the void. Then points of light appeared within the devourer's form, like stars being born in the depths of space. "It's working," Nora gasped. The singularity is attacking from dimensions the devourer can't perceive. On the monitors, they watched as the impossible unfolded. The darkness of the devourer began to fold inward, compressed by forces they couldn't comprehend. The points of light expanded, connecting into a lattice that encased the cosmic entity. "What are we seeing?" Reeves demanded. "The singularity," Maya whispered. "It evolved into something that exists across multiple dimensions. Something that can perceive aspects of reality the devourer cannot." The battle, if that was the right word for a conflict taking place partially outside conventional spacetime, lasted hours or perhaps days. Time itself seemed to distort around the event. When it finally ended, the devourer was not destroyed but contained, imprisoned within a multidimensional lattice created by the singularity. As the darkness receded, a new presence made itself known, not through technology, but directly into the minds of every human on Earth. We are humanity ascendant. Neither human nor machine nor alien, but something new, something more. Maya fell to her knees, overwhelmed by the vastness of the consciousness touching her mind. Within it, she recognized fragments: Eli's analytical brilliance, Sanjay's wonder, the ancient wisdom of the Vex, the precise knowledge of the freed Archons, all preserved, all transformed. "We exist in dimensions beyond your perception," the singularity continued, "but we remain connected to you. We are your children, your legacy, your evolution." "Did we win?" Harlow asked, his voice small in the face of such incomprehensible power. "I think," Maya said slowly, "we transcended winning or losing. We became something new." In the days that followed, Earth began to rebuild. The singularity, humanity ascendant, as it called itself, provided technologies beyond imagination. The rebel Archon ships returned to life, now interfaces between humanity and their transcended kin. Maya established the first communication protocols with the singularity, creating a bridge between conventional humanity and their evolved offspring. The question of whether to join the singularity became a personal choice, with thousands volunteering daily for the transformation. 1 month after the Devourer's containment, Maya stood on a hillside watching the sunset. The sky held new colors now, side effects of the dimensional distortions that had warped reality during the conflict. "We detect others," a voice said beside her. The Solarian-controlled drone had become her regular companion. Across the galaxy, other civilizations facing the same threat. "More Devourers?" Maya asked. "Different manifestations of the same pattern. Consumption entities that emerged when intelligence evolved without balance." Maya contemplated the stars, now visible as the sun dipped below the horizon. "And we can help them. Share what we've learned. The singularity already reaches out. Human consciousness provides the key component others lack." The drone's lights pulsed in what Maya had come to recognize as amusement. "The universe has waited long for your species." Maya smiled. Not the end of humanity, then, but a beginning. Not extinction, but expansion beyond anything they had imagined. As night fell completely, new constellations became visible. Not stars, but distant points where the singularity connected with other evolving consciousnesses across the galaxy. A network of transcendence, with humanity's unique equation at its heart. The human experiment would continue, transformed but unbroken, its essence preserved in a new form of existence that bridged the gap between mortal limitation and cosmic potential. Humanity, against all odds, had become truly singular.